I live back in the woods, you see, my woman and the kids and the dogs and me. I got a shotgun, a rifle, and a four-wheel drive, and a country boy can survive. Country folks can survive. I can plow a field all day long. I can catch catfish from dusk till dawn. Make our own whiskey and our own smoke too. Ain't too many things these old boys can't do. We grow good old tomatoes and homemade wine, and country boy can survive. Country folks can survive. Because you can't starve us out and you can't make us run, 'cause when them old boys raised on shotguns, we say grace and we say ma'am. If you ain't into that, we don't give a damn. We came from the West Virginia coal mines and the Rocky Mountains and the western skies. And we can skin a buck, we can run a trot line, and a country boy can survive. Country folks can survive. I had a good friend in New York City. He never called me by my name, just Hillbilly. My grandpa taught me how to live off the land, and his taught him to be a businessman. He used to send me pictures of the Broadway nights, and I'd send him some homemade wine. But he was killed by a man with a switchblade knife. For $43, my friend lost his life.
Hello, if you're watching this, it's because John and I thought you might be interested in our elk hunt. It is November now, and I'm just getting finished up putting this film together. We hunted in September. We wanted to film and kind of video document this hunt just for him and I, so in the future we could remember it and, you know, reflect back on the fun that we had. However, as we started going along, we thought, well, maybe our friends and family who don't hunt or don't know what goes into a hunt might be interested in watching this. So and that even kind of turned into a video diary, if you will, for me. So if you're a elk hunter or seasoned hunter in general, you may not find this interesting at all. However, for friends and family and other folks that really don't have any idea, when I say I'm going hunting, what that means, maybe this will give some insight to that. So I hope you enjoy it, and there's several segments, including a little blooper reel, if you will, at the end, so hope you like it. Okay, so here's elk camp. It's August 31st. Elk season starts on the 2nd. John Lazar and I, Matt Stevens, have drawn a trophy bull tag for the White River unit in Washington. And this is where we're going to be set up here for the next couple weeks. So you can see we have many of the creature comforts of home. We are not to be without on this trip. Alright, it's 5 a.m. on day 0. John and I are headed out to see if we can hear some bugling, get an idea of what the vocal activity is of the elk, and we were just talking about this persistent cough that I've had and what kind of trouble it could be. And in fact, John told me that if I get coughing too much, that two of us might go out and one of us might come back. Day 0, 6:30. John and I are now heading back to camp. We've only been out for a little over an hour. We made 3 stops, didn't hear any bugling, and on the 3rd stop I did some cow chirping and a bugle just to see if we could get a bugle back, and there was no vocal activity. However, we started hearing branches break, and within 10 minutes we had a bull within 40 yards of the truck, and it busted us and ran off, and it came to some cow talk and a bugle. Day 0, it is 7 a.m. and we just arrived back at camp. You can see John standing in the woods taking a picture, and this is what he is taking a panoramic shot of right there. It is a bright sunny day, and there is Mount Rainier. This is looking out our front porch of elk camp. Alright, we're standing on a really steep rock bluff right above our camp. It may be hard to tell on camera, but this is some of the biggest country I've ever hunted. These canyons are giant. You can see John in the bottom of the frame, sitting on the edge of the bluff, glassing with his scope. And right up here is our camp. There you go. This is the kind of country that you really have to think about where you're going to harvest an animal, because taking one is one thing, getting it out is another. Day 1 of our hunt, it's about 2 in the afternoon, and we found out yesterday the bulls aren't vocal, they're not bugling. So we decided that we'll just make some setups in areas that we had scouted, and we kind of knew that looked good. So we made about 6 setups today, and called in 2 bulls, neither of which we had a chance at. We're going to head out to another spot. We're going to keep hitting spot after spot and set up, and hope that here in the next day or two we start hearing some bugling. It might make the hunt a little easier, but we know they're out there. We've been calling them in, so we'll try again. All right, day 1 coming to a close. It's about 7 o'clock, and we've been through a lot of rough weather this afternoon. It's been pouring rain, and now we got blown out of the country. Had to get back to camp to make sure everything was secure, so we're going to pick it up tomorrow morning. Okay, another day of hunting is just starting out here. John's making some breakfast for us. Been clear skies all night, pretty brisk this morning. We're hoping that maybe these bulls might do a little better job responding to calls. Well, we're closing out day 3 here. I just got back to the truck. I'm waiting for John. We had one close encounter earlier this afternoon where I called in a nice 5x5, and it was just it wouldn't get out from behind the trees, and then they didn't like the calling after that. He didn't like the calling, so he took off. All right, it's the morning of day 4. We just finished breakfast and finishing up a couple things. The rigs are getting warmed up. We have planned to take a longer hike than we have been. So we're going to continue to rake trees. That seems to be what has been working the last couple days. Cow talk has not worked much at all. Bugles have worked a little bit, but it's been the tree raking. So we are off, and we'll keep you posted. Okay, it is day 5 of our hunt. It's about 1 in the afternoon or 2 in the afternoon. I think the last update I gave was yesterday morning. So yesterday afternoon, John and I went on about a 4-mile jaunt. It was about 3 in the afternoon. I called in a bull, and we couldn't close the deal. Today it's about 82 degrees here in the afternoon, and that makes it pretty difficult to entice these bulls to get out of their bed. It's just too hot. We have decided to go over the hill instead of around it, and we haven't decided whether that's been a good decision or not. It's pretty steep, as you can see. John's having to use hands to gain ground. So that's what it looks like going up. Here's what it looks like to the side. Here's what it looks like going down where we just came from. And
where we were trying to go.
what's that?
Tell them where we were trying to go.
Where were we trying to go?
We were trying to get to Asshole by way of Berry Hole.
Yeah. What was the first one called?
Cornhole.
Cornhole. So last night on the maps, we
Not to be confused with Shithole.
right. What we did was looked for some deep, dark holes that we thought some of these bulls were hanging in this warm weather. So after John went to bed, I studied the maps, and because we were looking for holes, I named one spot Cornhole, one spot Asshole, and one spot Jackhole. Was it Jackhole or Jerkhole?
I thought it was Shithole.
No, that's one we created, Shithole, in between the two. And they have turned out just like their names, no elk and hard work. So anyhow, just wanted to show you what some of this terrain was like that we're going up here. Okay, it's about 2:45 on, what is this, day 6 of the hunt? I believe it's day 6. It's been a little rough over the last couple days, though we've had a lot of laughs and have been having a great time. It's 80 plus degrees now. With this heat, these bulls are just hiding in these deep holes where it's nice and cool. So I'm going to go try to find one. Okay, it is Sunday the 7th. It's about 9 o'clock. I just got out of the woods. I had called in a bull. He was coming full charge through the woods. I could hear him, and then all of a sudden he turned and charged away just as quickly. And about 45 minutes later, I come to find out I'd also called in another hunter, and he was upwind of that bull and spooked it. So on my way out in the dark, I decided to bugle one time to see if I could get a bull to bugle somewhere nearby, to maybe get an idea of where I'd hunt tomorrow. And I bugled and got a bugle back, which is the first bugle I've heard since we've been here, since John and I have been here hunting. I think I've got a canyon figured out now where these elk are coming from in the early evening, so we might be able to intercept them. Okay, quick update here. It is Monday morning. It's going to be a short update. We are right on time. We think we got these bulls figured out. Okay, here's an update. It's 11 a.m. We thought we had these bulls figured out. Well, we did have them figured out. We got screwed by other hunters. I had 3 different bulls come into me in one calling stand, and one hunter below me who was road hunting, who came in out of his rig and just jumped into the canyon. The elk winded him and screwed me. And it also kind of screwed us for the whole morning because it pushed those elk right out of the country. So, okay folks, this is the update we've been waiting for. It's about 8:30 or so, I would guess. about an hour ago.
It was right at 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. I was calling up the hill. John set up down in the creek bottom. And I was calling for what, maybe, I did some raking, tree raking, and started cow calling. 15, 20 minutes. And a bull came running right in front of him, and he shot it on the run.
It was awesome.
Said he hit it really good.
So I hit it just a fuzz high, but it started pouring blood immediately.
So we haven't even started looking yet.
So
We gave it an hour. We kept hunting, trying to call in another one, and we almost doubled. I just had another one come about 30 yards, but it was on the other side of the creek and wouldn't commit to the open. So anyway, this is it right here. I'm gonna shut the camera off and turn it back on in a minute while we're trailing blood, and we're gonna go find this animal. And it's pretty exciting after 5-6 days. Here we are on the blood trail. We've been following it for a while. Oh, it's probably been an hour and a half, 2 hours since this bull was shot. He was spraying good blood.
I don't know if you can see that.
It's hard to see, but there's some blood here. We've been following stuff like that for maybe 60, 70 yards. And
Oh, there he is. There he is.
Look at the size of this animal.
7 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 6 by 7.
A 6x7 came to the cow call, came hard, running hard. This is the first bull that John has ever taken with a bow.
Yep.
And this is the first bull that I have ever called in. And I can tell you right now, I'm shaking and just as excited as John is
This could not be any more of a team effort. This was
6 days.
6 hard days and tag team effort and hikes and driving and scouting and
From the get-go.
a lot of work.
And we got a lot of work to do still. Most people who aren't outdoorsmen or spend time out with animals don't realize how big they are. He's a beautiful bull.
Huge animal, big-bodied, rocky. He's got some short tines. Hold on. There's another point back here I didn't see before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, he's 7 by 7, not 6 by 7. He had one buried in the dirt.
So here's the crowning on one side. Crowning meaning usually bulls are not like this. They don't have a middle tine up like this that kind of palmates out. And this side is even more dramatic palmation.
If you notice this is bark off a tree that is right on the road up above us. And I drove back to camp to get game bags and noticed that there's a tree that is absolutely shredded. And that, my friend, is the bark from that tree. And I got pictures of that tree just before we found this animal. So
last night, when I was coming out of this same canyon in the dark, I heard one bugle, the very first bugle that we've heard all week since we've been here, and it was a big, guttural, moaning bugle. And it was from the direction of where this bull just came from. And we had dubbed, the first night we were in camp, it was about 10 o'clock at night, and I went out of the trailer to pee. And as I was on my way in, I heard a bull chuckle not 40 yards from camp. And so we named him the Night Chuckler. And this very well may be that bull. We'll be at it for the next many hours. And
we'll
John?
See you tomorrow.
Final thought? Well, not final, but until...
I have never in my life had a rush like that. I literally tipped over when I saw him after I shot. An amazing animal. So,
all right.
I have lots of thanks for everything. To Matt.
It was fun.
Thanks.
It's only one. We still have a few days, and I plan on getting one. So we're only half done. So I just want to say one thing here. Let me flip the screen around. Okay, so all week long, these bulls have not been bugling. And so we've been doing this the hard way. Trying to pattern animals. It took us several days to figure out the animals in this canyon. And the calls have been a big part of this. I'm using the new point blank hunting call diaphragms, the single reed EFT single and the EFT double. And these are not on the market yet. By the time this video is being seen, they will be. I've had good success bugling with the EFT single, making it sound like young bulls. And I'm using the EFT double quite a bit for cow calling and for bugling. I'm also using the Mini Mew open reed call that Point Blank carries. So anyhow, just wanted to give a shout out because those calls were working great this week. And so we'll leave it at that for now. We've got the Point Blank Persuader 2 Grunt 2. Been working great. So anyhow, we're going to get to work here, and we'll get back to you shortly. Mike and Joe don't know, but we've been video documenting this whole week every day. And now you guys are... There's Big Mike with the messed up heel and foot, going to help us pack out. There's Joe coming from Wenatchee via North Dakota.
Heck yeah.
All right, another update to come soon. We're on our way out. John's packing his bull head and antlers. Hang in there, buddy. We're actually pretty lucky on this trip. We're only 150 yards from the truck, believe it or not. We're on the home stretch here. This is the eighth and final load to the truck. I think we've been from the time. Anybody know what time it is, Joe?
It's a little after 11.
It's a little after 11. We shot it at 7 o'clock. So that's not bad. 4 guys, 4 hours. All the meat's in the truck. And I'm going to shut her off and start it again when we get up to the rig. Okay, probably the last stop here. Maybe one more before we get to the truck.
That's where I felt it.
All right. We are to Big Mike's truck. There.
And the night chuckler's home.
The night chuckler. This is the bull we heard chuckle the first night we had in camp. It has to be. We nicknamed him the night chuckler because it was about 10 o'clock at night that we heard him 40 yards from camp. But we got the last laugh. We got the last chuckle. Okay, we have gotten back to camp, and it's been about 5, maybe 6 hours since John shot this bull. He had made these poles. I think I had already videoed them earlier in the week, and now we finally got them into use here. We're gonna have to run this down to the butcher. We're just not gonna have time to process the meat this year as far as cut and wrap and making burgers. I think while John's getting this finished up, I'm gonna fire up the grill. We're gonna have a little tenderloin midnight snack here. We've already had a couple celebration beers, and we'll be up for a while. Okay, it is now Tuesday morning. It's about 5:30. headed out by myself. John is completely bushed from cleaning and packing out his elk and all of that last night. So I'm pretty tired too, but didn't want to miss an opportunity yet another morning. However, I woke up, stepped outside the trailer, and we are fogged in. It is heavy fog. You can feel the precipitation in the air. There's only one way to kill an elk, and that's to get in the woods. So I'll have my camera with me though, so if something does go right and I'm able to poke one, then we'll get updated. Okay, time for another summary. John shot his bull yesterday. We spent most of the night getting it cleaned up, packed out, and cleaned up. In fact, we spent the whole night doing that and only got about an hour's worth of sleep or so. Within 5 minutes of being in the woods, I called in a small 3-point raghorn bull that I passed on. He was a really small-bodied bull and not something I was interested in. And then about 20 minutes later, I called in a 5x5 that I would have gladly taken. Called him into 45 yards, and he winded me, and that was it. He was gone. About 2 hours later, I got into another bull, and that bull called in 3 more bulls. So, thanks, John. So I actually was in 6 different bulls today. It's about 5 o'clock or so, and we're going to go out a couple hours early and get in the woods and have a very similar setup that John and I did last night, except I'm going to be the shooter. You know, a nice bull, if it steps in front of me, is going down. Okay, short update tonight. Went out for the evening hunt, and to a spot we were sure we were going to get into bulls, and we never saw or heard an elk, and we kind of know why. No reason to talk about it here. We're just going to get after it again tomorrow morning and see if we can't get one killed. Okay, Wednesday, September 10th, 6 a.m. We're just getting started on our morning hunt, or I am. John's with me. If things don't go well this morning, we're going to completely abandon this canyon and go find a bull somewhere else. So that's where we're at. I will let you know how that goes. John and I just went on a morning hunt, trying to get my tag filled. We went into an area that we thought we knew where the bulls were going to be. It's what we think every time, obviously, and never saw or heard a thing. In the meantime, I'm going to be figuring out a plan for the rest of the day today. Starting to feel a little bit of pressure to get this tag filled, and I don't want to feel that way. We've got a lot of days left, but I miss my family, and John would like to get back, and anyway, I guess my point is that I'd like to get it filled, but I also don't want to overlook something or rush through something that I normally wouldn't, and sacrifice the success of the hunt. Okay, here's the latest update. It is September 10th, 20 after 12, and as I told you before, I struck out this morning. I wasn't good at all, and so I've decided to take a new route here, abandon that canyon we were in. However, I'm taking a roundabout, a big loop that's about 3 miles, probably around 3 miles, into a bunch of new country that we haven't been in at all. Anyway, that's the update as far as the hunt goes. And one thing I was meaning to do, for those of you that aren't familiar with elk hunting, friends and family, I've decided to show you here what I carry with me, especially on a hike like this, where I'll be gone by myself for maybe, hard to say, depends on what happens, but anywhere from 4 to 8 or 9 hours. So let me run through some of the things that I carry with me here. We'll get back with you in a little while. I'm going to get to put my pack back together and get to hiking, and maybe with a little luck, I'll get blood on my arrow. All right, we will catch you up a little bit later.